The following is a 360-degree video presentation, best viewed on a mobile phone, tablet, or your desktop computer.
Join me today as we compare two great short sprinter RVs, the Pleasure-way Ascent and the Winnebago Revel.
My name's Neil Balthaser and I'm your host at Ultra Mobility, the channel all about Class B camper vans. If you're interested in Class B camper vans or are looking to buy, this is the channel for you. If you haven't done so already, I ask you to please consider subscribing. It's super easy. Just click the subscribe button and it'll help me continue to make great videos.
Today we're going to compare two short camper vans, the Winnebago Revel and the Pleasure-way Ascent. Now some people are going to say that's an unfair comparison because the Winnebago Revel is a 4x4 option, and I'm not doing that type of comparison today. Instead, I'm comparing two short wheelbase Mercedes Sprinters. Now there are very few of them available in North America. In fact, by my count, as of the date of this recording, there are only 5. There's the Ascent, the Agile from Roadtrek, the Winnebago Revel, the Passage 144 from Midwest Automotive, and the Safari Condo. Those are your only 5 choices that you have if you want to find a short sprinter camper van. So I think it's a fair comparison because people in that market are naturally going to consider the Winnebago Revel. So without further ado, let's start the comparison between the Winnebago Revel and the Pleasure-way Ascent. So when I first walk into the Ascent, I still get the same feeling that I got when I first bought it, which is there's a feeling of quality to it. There's a feeling of, I don't know if luxuriousness is the word, but it feels refined. Maybe that's a better word. With the color, the wood, the warm woods, and the curve radius cabinetry gives it a more modern feel, and all the beautiful LED lights and the Corian countertop and the colors like of the ultra leather. It just all, for me, it works together. And granted, you know, I'm biased because I bought the Ascent, but I really am trying to be objective. And I think most of you looking at this would probably say the same thing. There's also a very open and spacious feel to the Ascent when you walk in. It's completely open entirely to your left, all the way down through the galley, through the back lounge, across the back windows, and you can even see some of the side window there on the driver's side. So it's a very light and open, airy, I think sophisticated look to it. So the Revel has a completely different feel to it. It's not worse or any better, it's just really different. I mean, you feel like you're in a completely different van, even though it's built on the exact same Mercedes 144 Sprinter chassis. To me, it looks very utilitarian. It looks very practical and pragmatic. It has a modern feel to it, especially this particular one that we're looking at with bamboo wood applique to it. But also, it's not necessarily inviting. It's not warm. The materials don't look nearly as luxurious. I mean, they look fine, but they don't look. I don't get a warm, open feel. Part of it is it's dark. I mean, we do have all the lights on, as you can see in this view, and it still looks fairly dark. I think it's just because of the way it's laid out. It's got that bulkhead there off the galley, separating the galley from the rear bedroom, and then there's no window on that side in the bedroom, so there's just not as much light coming in. So that's it. I mean, utilitarian is the best word that I can use to describe walking into the Revel. And maybe that's okay. Maybe if you're an outdoor adventurer type, you know, you're not going to feel comfortable walking into something like the Ascent because it does have a more kind of upscale feel to it. You might be dirty or muddy or whatever. And this has a feeling more like, oh, you can just wipe down everything. But that's something you need to keep in mind and think about when you buy these RVs, is how do you want it to feel? What's going to meet your needs? I don't know if one's better than the other, but They are very different, the feelings between going into the Ascent versus going into the Revel. It's striking to me how different each one feels. Now let's talk about the lounge a little bit. I'm just going to talk about how the lounge functions and feels in each one. That's all I'm going to talk about. Let's start with the lounge in the Ascent. The lounge is, frankly, one, if not the best feature about the Ascent. It's frankly the reason why you buy the Ascent is because of the lounge. It is very bright, panoramic windows all the way around. Everyone that comes into the van, anyone that's ever ridden in the van has remarked, oh my God, there's just so many windows in the back of this. It feels like you're riding in, you know, a glass clubhouse. All of that, I think, works together to make it feel like a very warm, inviting, comfortable lounge. It's a place that you want to be. There are 2, 3, 4, 5 people can sit around the lounge, 3 on the bench, and then 1 on each ottoman, and you've got the round table in the middle. So it really is a social, communal environment. And then in addition, the 2 seat belts, you do have 2 seat belts in the back, and they're shoulder restraint seat belts. So you have an additional 2 3-point seat belts provided to you in the lounge. There's a nice LCD TV in the back. You know, it's a lounge. It's set up to be a nice place for you to either kick back, watch some TV, or have a meal with your friends or with your loved ones. It's probably one of the best lounges that you're going to find in a 19-foot van. Well, let's look now at the Revel's lounge. So, completely different feel. It's at the front of the cab. And again, the feel of this lounge is utilitarian. It works. It does what it's supposed to do. It's not necessarily inviting and warm. I mean, the 2 cab front seats spin around, although the passenger side seat, if you notice, it can spin around, but it's not really going to have a clear access or a part of the table to use. It can turn around and face the other 3 people, but really this lounge in the Revel is for 3 people. You've got the jump seat, which is a little bit small. 2 kids could fit on the jump seat, or an adult and a child. It would be a little bit tight to have 2 adults in the jump seat, so you're definitely not going to get 5 around this lounge. It does double duty as kind of a work surface area for the front driver or the people sitting in the jump seats. I think that works out really well for them. I mean, you've got some good windows in the lounge of the Revel. There's the window on the sliding door, of course, all the windows in the cab, and then the little window off on the driver's side for the lounge. But it's a different feel, you know. It's not like you're surrounded by glass and you're sitting in the middle of it and taking in whatever is around you. Also, just, you know, the seat belts there are lap restraints. They're not shoulder restrainted seat belts in the lounge, although that doesn't necessarily matter in terms of the lounge setup. The table, as we see it here, the table's the half size. It can flip this way and make into a larger table, which is nice, and then it stows away automatically. You know, it has a cold, practical, pragmatic feel to it, and I do not like having just that wall of components just hitting you right in the face in the lounge. That is like so awful and ugly thing to look at in the lounge. There's also no television in the lounge, although you can use that Ram tough rack thing above the window. You can buy accessories to hang things like an iPad and things like that from the window. So that piece of, you know, entertainment piece for the Revel in the lounge is missing. It's not there. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. As lounges go, I'm not happy. I'm not impressed with the Revel's lounge. It works. It's there. It works. You can eat a meal there. You can do some work there. That's about it. It works. It's practical, but it's not the centerpiece, of course, of the Revel. That's not probably why you get the Revel. So the lounge, I got to give it to the Ascent. I think the Ascent has the much better lounge. I don't even think you can compare the two lounges. It seats more people. It's much more luxurious. There's panoramic glass windows making it open and airy. It's just a much better lounge in my book. Okay, moving into the Galley on the Ascent. The Galley on the Ascent, it's small, but we're in a small van, and almost every Galley you're going to look at a van that's around 19 feet, it's going to be smaller. But I think the Galley works really well here. You have the two flip-up counter extensions on the left and the right of the Galley, so you practically can double your amount of workspace in the Galley if you need it. But I like the fact that they fold away and get up out of the way when you don't need them, which is really nice. You have a 2-burner propane cooktop. Cooking with gas is, in my book, always great. And then you have plenty of storage. You have 3 drawers of storage underneath the stove, and then you have the large door there for storage underneath the sink. You have 6 AC outlets in the kitchen. And then on the other side of the wall there, you have a pretty good size 3-way refrigerator, and then your microwave oven. So you got everything that you need in your Galley. It's conveniently located right in the middle of the van. Nice fit and finish. Above the stove and sink, you've got some storage there for food and other items. So I think the Galley is highly functional. It's a nice wide aisle, which is also nice. So if someone's standing there, you can see at the sink, someone could still squeeze by behind them. That's not always true in a lot of these vans. The aisle space is precious, and you need to watch out for that in vans. Because depending on where you put things like the bathroom, as you can see here, it constrains part of the aisle, but they moved it toward the opening, which was smart, so it didn't take up a lot of your aisle space. And then they cut it back again to give you more aisle space where the refrigerator is. Also, the 3-way refrigerator is not as deep as a compressor refrigerator, so keep that in mind as well. You're going to lose an inch or so with a compressor refrigerator. So Sprinter widths, interior widths, are less than, say, a ProMaster by inches. So those little things matter. As we look at the Revel, so the first thing I'm going to point out is that the alleyway. So because of that front seat there, it's kind of like the bathroom on the Ascent where the jump seats are. So it comes out into the aisle. But you do get quite a bit, enough space maybe to fill. The problem is that compressor refrigerator down there. That's what I was talking about. See that compressor refrigerator, the NovaCool? It sticks out a good 2 inches or more into the aisleway. And so that's going to constrain the amount of space you have there for someone in the Galley, for someone to squeeze past you. It just between that and then the jump seat, that's pretty narrow, and I don't think that someone's going to be able to pass behind you. You're going to be doing a little bit of the Galley shuffle here. The fit and finish is, it's okay. It's there's no Corian countertop, which is surprising. This is an expensive van. It's $142,000. The cabinet and things like that, I mean, it just looks just a little, it doesn't look as high end to me. It doesn't look as high end. You have an induction cooktop. Many of you are going to like that. I'm not sure about the induction cooktop on the Revel, and the only reason why is there's no lithium battery option. They give you 3, I think, AGM batteries, but because you've got a compressor refrigerator, I've done other episodes about that and how the amount of energy that's needed. You need 2 solar panels. This has 2 solar panels on it and over 200 watts of solar, but you've got a compressor and you've got the induction cooktop. So I'm not convinced that you have enough solar or battery power if you're going to be doing cooking here in the van. Winnebago kind of tries to, wave their hands over it and say, well, you're not going to be doing a lot of cooking in the van and you're not going to have the thing on high heat. I think that's just all marketing talk we're a little bit concerned about the amount of solar and battery power we have, but we hope that it works for you. They got some good AC outlets in here. A little bit of storage there on the left, but you do have this large pantry on the right, so that helps quite a bit. I mean, the Galley is, there's no microwave here. Maybe that's important to you, maybe it's not. I use my microwave all the time. I use it in place of an oven. So I use my microwave more than I use my stove. Let's just put it that way. Marine style sink, I've talked about that in the Revel review. Not a big fan of the marine style sinks. There is a counter extension on the left. To the left of the sink, there's one counter extension there. So you get a little bit more prep space there. That awful bilge pump there, I got to ding the Galley for that on the Revel. They have to put it in there because the gray water holding tank's on the driver's side and it's level with the kitchen, and so they got to move the water from this side of the van to that side of the van, which means you can't rely on gravity, and they got to use a pump to do it. So it's a loud macerator pump. I just think it's just one of those things that I wish they didn't have to do, because using your sink in your RV and your camper van shouldn't require you to think about turning on a bilge pump to empty it out. That's just my feeling about it. So the Galley here, you know, I got to give again the Galley. I got to give the Ascent takes it. It's just a better functioning Galley. It's got a larger refrigerator. In this particular case, having a three-way works better because I also only have 2 solar panels, and I've done a video about that in my energy needs. I'm just not convinced you have enough solar and battery power on the Revel for your induction cooktop. And then the fit and finish of the kitchen on the Ascent is much, much higher than what you see here. Okay, moving into the bedroom on the Ascent. Now keep in mind the lounge doubles as a bedroom in the Ascent. This is one thing I like about the Ascent. There's 3 different bed configurations that you have with the Ascent. So one configuration is when the sofa bed's down, you have 2 twin beds. You have a twin on the driver's side and a twin on the passenger side, and then there is a space in the middle there between the ottomans where either person, if there's 2 people sleeping in the Ascent, can easily get out, put their feet down in the aisle, and get out, for instance, and go to the bathroom. A lot of people don't think about that, but if you don't have that, what ends up happening is you're climbing over the other person and inevitably waking them up to get out of bed, and then when you come back in bed, you're climbing over the person and inevitably waking them up to get back into bed. So I like having this twin configuration as an option. The second configuration of the bed is where you fill in that center section. And then the third configuration is where, and it's my preferred configuration, it's where you put the sofa partially down, not all the way down like you see here, and you sleep laterally in the back so that you have, not only can you just easily step out into the center if you have to go to the bathroom at night, but the ottoman on the driver's side acts as a really great little nightstand. The other thing I like is you can stand up in the back of the Ascent. There's nothing above your head, and you still get all the complement of if you're in a beautiful setting or area on the beach or something, you've got all these windows all the way around you, lots of ventilation in the back. So I think that the bedroom in the Ascent is, as a bedroom, is highly functional. Your thermostat or your air conditioner's all back there. You don't have to get up in the middle of the night and go someplace else to change the temperature. Now, as we go into the Revel, it's a completely different feel again. Keep in mind, on the Revel, the bedroom also has a double function. It functions as the garage or as the bedroom. So the bed's up at the ceiling. As you can see, it's right now it's in its a retracted position, so it's up at the ceiling. And then when you want it, you hit a button in the front where the lounge is, and it lowers that bed down. You'll have to climb up into the bed because the surface of the bed comes down to, as you can see there on the driver's side and passenger side, you can see that's where the bed comes down to. So it's fairly high, so you're going to have a little step stool to get up into the bed. You're not just going to flop down into it. It's a good sized bed. You are going to be sleeping laterally, widthwise, which is why they have those weird blowouts on the side of the windows, is to give you some extra space on each side, the driver and passenger side, so you can sleep laterally. You're not going to be able to sleep lengthwise this way. It's not long enough. You can't really stand up when the bed is up in here. There's not enough roof height, so you're going to be hunched over. There's okay light. You don't have windows at all on the passenger side, and you have that tiny little window on the driver's side. Maybe for some of you, you don't want a lot of windows. Okay, then that works for you. For me, I'd rather have the windows, and then if I want privacy, I'd rather have shades when I can pull them down. But again, if I'm parked someplace and it's private and it's really lovely out, I like having all the blinds up actually and seeing the Milky Way or whatever out the windows or the ocean, wherever I'm at and seeing it. That's just me rather than feeling like I'm cocooned in. Here I feel like I'm cocooned in a bit. There's a fantastic roof vent fan above you, which is good for circulation. So I've got to give I know it seems biased, but I'm going to give the bedroom to the Ascent because I think it's much more configurable with the 3 different configurations. I think it has much more windows and it feels light and airy, and if you don't want that, you just drop the MCD shades down. But it's nice to have the option for those of us who like lots of light and like it open and airy to have that rather than not having it, like in the Revel. As a bedroom goes, I also think that getting in and out of this bed in the Revel is much more difficult. Not only do you, if there's 2 people, you're going to climb over each other to try to get in and out, but you're up higher. So it's not just a matter of, getting out of your bed and putting your feet on the ground. Your feet are going to be dangling. You're going to have to jump down from the bed or have some type of step stool at night. It's just going to make getting in and out of bed a little bit more difficult. Again, for some people, they're not going to care about that because you've got the huge garage underneath, and we're going to talk about that next. But as a bedroom goes, and strictly as a bedroom goes, it's fine, it's nice, but the Ascent's bedroom is going to take the cake on this one. Looking at the bathroom on both the Ascent and the Revel, let's start with the Ascent. So the Ascent bathroom, they're both frankly about the same size. They're 3 feet by 2 feet, but they are really, really different. The Ascent bathroom has everything that you need. It has a permanent fixed toilet, which goes into a proper black tank, and the black tank is 12 gallons, so it's quite large. It means you're going to be able to boondock for longer periods of time because you've got a large black holding tank. It's also got a sink in it, which is nice. Some of you don't care about a sink. Some of you don't even care about a bathroom, to be quite honest, at least according to Winnebago. They say that their buyers for the Revels, many of them have asked, why is there even a bathroom? And you've got, in the Ascent, you've got the opening window, which is nice because it gives it light coming in there and it lets some of the outside in. So it functions well as a bathroom. My particular model has the curved radius door, which gives you a little bit of extra space when you're inside the bathroom, elbow room, especially if you're taking a shower in there. But it will be tight. It is a tight bathroom, so if you're a larger person, the Ascent bathroom, it's tight. Let's look at the Revel bathroom. Now, the Revel bathroom is just, it's strange to me. Winnebago decided to double up the bathroom as a storage closet as well as a bathroom. Now this is because if you notice inside the Revel, there's very little storage space, like actual cabinets inside the Revel. Unlike the Ascent has a lot of cabinets around the roof area, the Revel really doesn't have any of that. What they do have is they have a huge garage in the back. But if you have loose items and things like that, not big items, but loose items, there's not a terribly lot of places you can put them in the Revel. So they thought, well, a lot of people don't necessarily want a bathroom in the Revel. That's a head scratcher to me. If you're going out camping in the wilderness, I would think one of the few things that you would want is a nice bathroom, but that's what they say. So they thought, well, let's just go ahead and put shelves in the bathroom and turn it into a closet as well. I don't know what to say about this. I think Winnebago needs to make a decision as to do they need more storage or not? Are they going to have a bathroom or not? But this middle of the road thing that they've done, which is, well, we'll put a bathroom in, but not a sink, and we'll put some shelves in there and stick it in. So when the shelves are in and they're loaded up, you can't really get in to use the bathroom. I don't get it. It's not well thought out to me. Maybe it'll work for some people. But but I think they need to make a decision. Is it a bathroom or is it a storage closet? It's a cassette toilet. That's a little bit of a head scratcher for me because, again, the Revel's being marketed as this rugged 4x4 all-weather, take it out, which to me means boondock with it. And a 5-gallon cassette toilet for boondocking, if you have 2 people in there, that's not going to last you very long. According to Winnebago, what they say is many of their buyers have said they don't even want a bathroom. So I guess having a 5-gallon tank is better than nothing. Going to have to give the bathroom to the Ascent just because it's more practical, pragmatic, and nicer having a porcelain toilet and an opening window and a sink in it and a large 12-gallon black tank. I think all makes the bathroom more usable on the Ascent as a bathroom. Finally, let's talk about storage, because one of the big design decisions that Winnebago made with the Revel is putting that huge garage in the back. Let's face it, I've talked about this before. The Ascent has challenges with storage. It has lots of internal cabinet space, which is great. So if you have loose items and clothes and food and things like that, there's lots of little cabinets where you can put that stuff in. Where the Ascent struggles is it doesn't have a lot of space for bigger items. And by bigger items, I mean anything bigger than a suitcase. In fact, even storing your suitcases is difficult in the Ascent because the lithium-ion battery packs are located under the bench sofa. And that means there's not a lot of extra room underneath the sofa to slide in a suitcase. You can get maybe a couple children's suitcases under there, but an adult suitcase isn't going to fit, which means that suitcase is going to be somewhere in the aisleway along here while you're traveling, which is not the ideal situation. If you're using the Ascent, if you're a couple using the Ascent, generally what you're going to do is you're not going to bring suitcases. You're going to store your clothes up in these upper cabinets because there's plenty of storage space there for 2 people to put a bunch of clothes in there for a week or 2 up in there. So that's what you're going to do. But if you're looking to store any type of outdoor equipment or bikes or things like that, it's not going to go inside the Ascent at all. You can get an external rack for your tow hitch so you can have bikes and stuff like that. You can tow a toy hauler, or something behind you if you want for any of your gear, but the van itself doesn't have enough room for really any type of gear, anything larger than a suitcase. Now let's talk about the Revel, because the Revel does. The Revel doesn't have a ton of space inside for little knickknacks, which is why they put that weird bathroom closet thing in, but where it does excel is that rear bedroom, loft bedroom with a garage. When the bed is up, as you can see, there is a ton of storage space. I don't know exactly, I'll try to find out exactly how much cubic square footage there is in the Revel in the back garage when the bed is up, and put that up. But needless to say, when that bed is up, you could get 3 bikes or more back there. You could get definitely a bunch of huge tents and camping gear and coolers and things like that in the back, no problem. They will have a home and you'll still have your lounge up front ready to use. So I'm going to have to give storage to the Revel. It's definitely been designed to let you haul a lot of gear, especially if you're looking to go outdoor skiing, maybe a surfboard down the middle, down through there, all carried on the inside of the van. You don't have to put anything on the outside of the van. You don't have to tow anything behind you. It can all go into the garage area on the back. So that's a huge plus and a huge selling point for the Revel. So the Revel wins on storage, hands down, over the Ascent. Well, it's clear to me that as strictly camper vans, the Pleasure-way Ascent won hands down over the Revel. Not only is it just more refined and a better built and quality built van, but you also have a larger black tank, which lets you boondock longer. You have a more usable bedroom. You have a proper bathroom. And you have a galley that has everything that you need, including a large work surface area with 2 flip-up counters and a microwave. To me, it's all about living in the van, and the Ascent wins hands down there. Now, it's not to say that the Revel doesn't have a market. It certainly does. In fact, one could argue that the Revel has a market all its own right now. It's really one of the only true 4-season 4x4 camper vans that you can get in the market today. So it has really no competition. And if we were to do a head-to-head comparison between the Ascent and the Revel on that ground alone, then clearly the Revel would win. So I hope this head-to-head comparison today was helpful to you. I think it was, because if you're in the market and you're looking for a camper van that you can drive around town and that you can park in a standard parking space, there's only 5 choices, 5 available to you in North America. And the Revel is one of those, and you're certainly going to consider it. So in that context alone, I think it was important to do this comparison between the Pleasure-way Ascent and the Winnebago Revel.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I'd love if you became a subscriber. It helps me continue to make great videos. Leave a comment in the comment section below, and I try to answer each and every one of them. We'll see you again next time on Ultra Mobility, your channel for Class B camper vans. Take care. Bye-bye.